everyone, welcome back to Alice on the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is the second part of my Booktube Prize Octafinals experience, and this one is going to be my rankings of the 6 books that I read in my group. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books, and this is my ranking video of Booktube Prize 2022, the Octafinals, and I was judging Fiction Group H. If you've come over from my previous video where I talked more about each book, and it was kind of a vlog style to tell you about each book as I read it, then thank you for watching that one too. If you haven't seen that one yet, and after this one you would like to see more detailed reviews of each book, and I do talk a little bit about my process of how I was ranking the books. But anyway, you're here for the rankings, so here they are. Okay, I've just submitted my ballot, and yeah, it's really exciting to have finished all of my reads for this round. So I thought I would share with you what my final ranking is. These are the books I read, except for The Promise, which I read an e-copy of. And this is going to be my order. Before I start, this was really tricky because there isn't a single book in this group that isn't a really good book, and I would say that the bottom 3 for me are only in the bottom 3 because I can appreciate them as being really good books. I definitely know people who I will recommend some of them to, but they didn't fully appeal to me and I didn't fully enjoy them. So the bottom 3 are great books, and do let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure everybody else would have ranked this group differently to me, but this was my feelings. So in at number 6 would be The Promise by Damon Galgut. I know that this won the Booker Prize, but for me, I think it's a very good book. I think that it's got a story that is worth telling, and I did enjoy that story. What I didn't enjoy about it was probably the punctuation, the way the author decided not to really break up the text at all and to not use any speech marks. That's always a bit of a bugbear for me. But despite that, I did enjoy reading the book, so just because I've rated it last, it doesn't mean it wasn't a great book. In at number 5 was How Beautiful We Were by Mbolo Mbue. I know at least one person who I'm going to recommend this to. It just wasn't my cup of tea, really. There are some things that I like that the author did, and I equally think that some of the really interesting things that this author was doing are also things that made me not quite connect with the book as much as I connected with some of the others. So unfortunately, this came in at number 5 for me, but I do think it's a very good book. My trickiest decision in the whole group was between position 4 and position 3, and I've had to go with my instinct on which book I enjoyed more overall, so that's what I've done. And in number 4, and it really did sadden me to put this in number 4, but I've done it anyway. In at number 4 is The Fortune Men by Nadifa Mohammed. Again, I think this is a really good book, and I think I probably know some fans of historical fiction who would really enjoy this book, and I think I could have enjoyed it a lot more if I'd have been interested in the more historical part of it. But unfortunately, the only reason why this is not in 3rd place is because there were parts of this that really did drag a little bit for me, and that was a shame because this is a really interesting story and it is very well told. It just didn't do for me what the book in 3rd place did. Coming in at number 3 in my top 3 is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. This was my biggest surprise, I would say. I wasn't expecting to particularly enjoy The Prophets, and I did spend sort of the first 100 pages of this book wondering what I had got myself into. But when I did get really into this book and really start to understand where this book was going. It really did hook me, and I found it by the end really, really powerful. And I just don't feel like I've ever read a book quite like this one before. So if you have read a book that's like this one, or that you think does what this one does better, then do let me know in the comments down below. It's not an area I'm very well read about, and I would certainly like to read more in this sort of genre now that I have read this one. This was definitely way out of my comfort zone, but really did hit me hard, and yeah, that's why it deserves a place in my top 3. And in number 2, this was another huge surprise for me, and this book has topped my list right up until the very last book, and that is China Room by Sanjeev Sahota. I love this book. This was the first of the books that I think I will probably reread at some point. This was really, really enjoyable. What I would say about China Room is that it's perfectly formed. Like, it's not too long, it's a nice short book, but it only needs this amount of pages. It's like the author has perfectly judged how long this story is. There's 2 timelines in this one, and I didn't enjoy the more modern timeline as much as I enjoyed the past timeline, but the ending to this again hit me really hard, and there's just something at the end of this book that really, really got me. So this is a deserving number 2, and it would have been number 1 if not for the fact that my book in at number 1, and I really think a lot of people might not agree with me, because this group genuinely had 6 really good books, so I don't expect others who've judged the same group as me to have the same ranking. I don't think that will be the case at all, but for me, this final book in at number 1 is probably my favourite book of the year so far. So you will already know which one it is because I've been talking about it. This book was for me. I enjoyed every minute of this. There was never a point in this where I was bored or I was hate reading. I just was fascinated by all of it. If there was one storyline I found a little bit slower, it was probably the storyline set in Constantinople in the past, but I enjoyed that as well. I just really, really enjoyed the more modern storylines in this one and the storylines set in the future. So I genuinely think that this is going to be a favourite book of the year. If it turns out not to be, it will mean I've read some absolutely amazing books in 2022, because this was fantastic. So that is my ranking of my 6. I don't think it's the ranking that I predicted. I'm hoping that I will have put my prediction in earlier in the video. So with that final ranking, we've reached the end of my Booktube Prize round 1 experience. I'm not going to be putting myself in to judge round 2 because I have found it's not really pressurised, but I have felt that having a deadline and having specific books to read has cut into my time spent reading some of my giant TBR and just being free to read whatever I want. So I need a couple of months of doing that, and then I might go back to putting myself up for judging after that. It's been a really fun experience to judge round 1 of the Booktube Prize. Yeah, it's been a brilliant first time experience. I absolutely can't wait to see the results and which of these books got through. I really, really hope that Cloud Cuckoo Land and China Room got through, but I do think the group that I've judged is extremely open. I think all 6 of the books are excellent books, and it could go to any 3 from the group. Thanks for watching my rankings of my Booktube Prize group for the Octafinals. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did want to check out my longer video where I talk about each stage of the process and talk about how I ranked them and what I thought of them as I read them, then please do go over and check that one out. I will link it somewhere for you to go over to. It's now about a week later from when I made my ranking video, and we've seen the results. The books that actually went through from Group H were How Beautiful We Were by Mbolo Mbue, The Promise by Damon Galgut, and my top favourite, a new favourite book of the year, Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Dewar. So I'm extremely glad that my top pick went through. I absolutely loved this book. I have been out and my mum has bought me a brand new copy of this because I already passed on my library copy to my mum to read, and she absolutely loved it as well. So I'm really, really glad to see that go through. A bit disappointed to hear in a few people's ranking videos how much people didn't like China Room, which I obviously liked quite a lot, but we all have different tastes and experiences, and that's fine. I thought all 6 books were brilliantly written, and it was really, really hard to rank them because I did struggle sometimes with reading some of them. And the ones that weren't quite to my taste were the 3 that I put in the bottom 3. But 2 of those went through, and I think deservedly so because they are very well written books. I'm quite surprised to not see The Prophets go through, but I think most people whose videos I've seen so far have had similar opinions to me about The Fortune Men. So yeah, it's been a really, really interesting experience judging the Octafinals. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this ranking video, and if you have, please do give it a like. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and of course do chat to me in the comments about these books. That's all from me today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll all join me again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.